Hey everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you so much for joining me today for my 2-year Flosstubeaversary extravaganza. In this video, I have a lot going on. I have a big giveaway that I've been talking about for a month, 2 big giveaways for 2 years. There will be trivia and future prizes. There are 3 finished objects, 2 of which are fully finished and are of questionable taste. I will tell you when those are happening, so if you don't like swearing and vulgar things, you can skip ahead. I have whips, I have progress, I have a little bit of haul. What else do I have over here? I have other things. I have a giant thing on my head. That tells you it's a party, my friends. I even put makeup on for you. So let's get started. First, as always, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on my crafty and artistic adventures. And welcome back to everyone who's been with me for however long you've been with me. Some of you for 2 years. Today. It's been great to get to know you over these past 2 years in the comments here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me in 2 places. I will put them both right here. Dr_Christy is my sort of normal, almost everyday posting on social media, Instagram, and I post stitching and weaving and my dog and work and all sorts of different things. And my second one is called the Spoolery, and that's where I put, you know, things related to my love of vintage wooden spools. So if you are interested in seeing what I'm doing during the week, you can find me there. I've also been posting on Tuesdays and Wednesdays an Embroidery 101 virtual class that you can find in my videos. So if you're interested in learning freehand surface embroidery and want to go from knowing nothing to having a really cute needle book that looks like this, you should check that out. I think we're on episode 4 and I think episode 5 is coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how my work schedule goes. This is the channel about embroidery and cross stitch and other textile crafts and history and weaving and the history of all of those things. So if any of that is interesting to you and you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around. First, we're gonna have games. Well, trivia. So throughout this episode, I will be asking trivia about me and my channel, somewhat based on what we're looking at, and some of it's just sort of like, how well do you know me? These are things that I talk about all the time, so you don't have to know me intimately to know these things. What you'll do is put the answer down below, and then next week I'll do a drawing for each question for a pattern, any pattern that I have designed. So that is the prize for that. So keep an eye out for those questions, for those trivia questions throughout this episode. I will do the Big Mamba Jamba celebration giveaway at the end of the episode, so that way I can, like, you know, draw it out and my percentage looks really good. So the first thing we're going to do in this extravaganza is I'm going to show you my fully finished objects that I took to me when I went to the beach 2 weeks ago. And these are both vulgar and the stories are ridiculous. Like they have stories behind them, which is why they're vulgar, but they are vulgar. So if you don't like vulgarity, if you don't like swearing, because I'm sure swearing will happen too, I recommend skipping to this time here. And that will be when I show you my first stitchy whip, which is not vulgar in any way, shape, or form. And I haven't posted it on Instagram yet, so I'll post it on Instagram after I upload this, so you guys get like first view of my finished object. All right, so backstory. A few weeks ago, I went to Atlantic City, New Jersey with some friends from grad school. We've been friends for 20 years. In fact, we met, our 20th sort of anniversary of meeting is next year, 2023. But about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, we started doing monthly Zooms where we would just like hop on Zoom and chat. We live all over the country. We're all, well, not all of us are in academia, but many of us are in academia or are teachers. And so, you know, we're all over the country. And so we started meeting up. Well, then COVID hit and we were like primed to maintain our friendships, which was really nice. And last summer, this was before the Delta wave hit, things were looking pretty good COVID-wise. And so we decided to go on vacation together. And so we rented a little cabin on the coast of Maine and had a great time. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago, the same group of people, we went to Atlantic City to hang out, and we all stayed in a condo together. So we'll just say that it was very close quarters and we got along really well, and it was great. Because you never know, you haven't seen people in like 20 years. You never know. The cabin in Maine had like no privacy and no running water, and we survived and had a great time. So all of us staying in a condo down the shore was easy peasy. And in commemoration, as like a souvenir for this year's trip, I made us some t-shirts, and I need to sort of preface this with a story. So we love each other very much. We're very good friends. To an outsider, we are horrible people to each other. We're very insulty. We're very teasy. And we're just mean, honestly. Like, we're mean to each other. We're not mean to anyone else, but we're mean to each other. It's all in fun. Like you know, some people tease and some people don't tease. We are very teasy and we are mean. So enter in my now husband, who's met one of these people, you know, because we live so far away. And we have these Zooms, and we are just jerks. Like, we're terrible. And so he started calling us the assholes. He's not a teasy person. He did not come from a teasy kind of family where that was like how you showed love. So he did not like it. But we thought it was hilarious, right? Because we are assholes. That's our friendship. But a lot of us also have PhDs, and I think all of us have master's degrees because we met in master school. With the robes, he calls us wizards. And so he ended up sort of nicknaming us the ass wizards. The asshole wizards are the ass wizards. So I made a t-shirt. So I designed this t-shirt for our Atlantic City trip, our July Atlantic City trip, and it's an ass wizard. And oh my God, they were such good sports. Like, they were so excited, and we wore them all the time. And if you're wondering why this color, it's because this was the color that was on clearance. And then I picked colors that were like the most jarring with this color. Like, that's what I made. So anyway, I made an ass wizards t-shirt. Okay, so that's that. But then I thought, well, you know, I need to make something to commemorate our trip to Maine. And so I made a beer koozie. And I made it in camo because we were in the woods. On this side, it says July 2021 Maine. And yes, that clearly is a penis. But if you compare it to the shape of the island we were on, it is also clearly the exact shape of the island we stayed on. And we stayed right at the end. So because we are all apparently 12, we thought that this was the funniest thing ever. And so we called it the tip of the dick. So we stayed. This is why I had a disclaimer before this section, because we are like literally have the humor of a 12-year-old. So we stayed on the tip of the dick in Maine. So we got that. And then on the back, it says night turlet. And the reason it says night turlet is because this cabin had no running water, which means that we were in a porta potty out. Like, if you had to go to a porta potty outside. And there were 2 floors, and the second floor had sort of like 2 partitioned rooms. And then there was a futon in like the living kitchen area. And then there was a cot on the porch, on the screened-in porch. So we were all just like strewn about this cabin. But the way to get to the upstairs was a literal attic ladder. So you pulled down the trap door in the ceiling, And there was this rickety ass ladder that you like climbed up, and that's where people were sleeping. So you go upstairs and there is like essentially a chamber pot, like one of those portable toilets that like people with disabilities or elderly use, that has the handle and like the pot, and then you have to like carry downstairs and empty it out, right? Which is fine, right? I mean, really useful. Well, we called it the night turlet, and we made a pact that we would not use this night turlet because nobody wants to drag that thing down those rickety stairs. Everyone kept to the pact. No one used it, but it became a running joke, the night turlet. So that is the koozie that I gave everyone who was there last year. The tip of the dick and night turlet. Anyway, so those are my super vulgar and long storied FFOs. And for those of you who are just coming back, welcome back. I will show you my most recent finished object. In fact, I finished it during my talk with my friends last night, who I was just talking about, the ones I went on vacation with. I finished Jessica Fletcher! I finished Jessica Fletcher. I think she looks so good. I want to talk about a few things that I did. I haven't gotten rid of the lines underneath. So there is, I used a friction pen to draw her out, and those lines are still there. I haven't gotten rid of them. I literally just finished it last night, and then have been working this morning. So, but a couple fun things. I had talked last week that I was trying to figure out what color to use for her hair and her skin. So I thought I was going to use a new color for her skin. And so I got this color here, which is Color and Cotton Cardamom. I love cardamom. It's my favorite spice. Color and Cotton Cardamom, which is kind of like a peachy purple beige. Well, on this fabric, it looked exactly like Tusk. I mean, like, you can tell the difference in skein, but on the fabric, you couldn't tell anything. So then I decided I would go for, I would use this peanut for her skin, which is what I already had, and I would choose a new color for her hair. And she is kind of strawberry blonde. At least in a lot of episodes, she's strawberry blonde. So I ended up going with Gentle Art Stitchy Box exclusive Spring Flowers. And I don't know if it's not really showing up very well, but it's much peacher than it's showing up. I would say it's actually closer to like the color of my face. Honestly. It's very pinky peach. So I did that for her hair, and I really like it. I think you can tell that it's a different color, which I like. And I'm pretty pleased. And now I want to talk about the stitches that I used. For most of it, I use a stem stitch, right? Stem stitch is my favorite stitch, and I use it all the time. So all this stuff here is all stem stitch. And then I wanted to do something really fun for her glasses. And so I picked gold, and I did a satin stitch on kind of like the metal parts of, you know, like here, the bridge, the whatever these are called, arms or whatever. And then on the frames, I did a whipped back stitch. And what that is it's a back stitch that you then take another floss and you basically wrap it around. So it looks almost like a barber pole. So the gold is a back stitch, and the maroon, which is this color, is basically wrapped around that back stitch. And I think it turned out really, really nice because I wanted to bring this color up further. And then for her hair, the outline I did in a stem stitch, and then the kind of inside details I did in a back stitch just to make them slightly lighter, because stem stitches are essentially double thickness because they're you kind of come up right next to it. And so it's double thickness. And I wanted that kind of more fine. And so I did that in backstitch. So that, my friends, is done. And I'm super excited. This is my 4th installment of my sleuths series. And as always, I will show you my other sleuths. And while I'm getting that ready, I will be posting a poll on my stories, on my Instagram stories, and my YouTube community tab to pick the next sleuth I will do, who I will announce after this. So I have Miss Franny Fisher, Monsieur Hercule Poirot, and Sherlock Holmes. And these are literary and TV sleuths, but the literary sleuths, it's a very specific TV version. So it is the Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes and the David Suchet Poirot. What I would like for you all to help me choose is my next one. And the two I have left are Miss Marple, the Joan Hickson version, or Columbo, the Peter Falk version, which I think is the only version. I don't know if Columbo is from a book. I kind of don't think it is. So I will have a poll in my stories on Instagram that I will put up tomorrow. And tomorrow is the 15th of August, 2022. And I will have a poll up on my community tab in YouTube. And we'll see who gets the most votes. Columbo or Miss Marple. So those are my finishes, and I'm super excited about them. So now I want to talk about my first trivia question. Trivia question number 1 is, what state in the United States do I live in? And I want you to spell it out as opposed to putting the abbreviation. So question number 1 is, what state in the United States do I live in? Put it down below. All right, let's talk whips. Whips, whips, whips. I worked on my temperature drinks shelf, which is going to look like this. But I'm not sure how... I finished all of July, and I did the August shelf. So this is what it looks like. I think it looks so good. So funnily enough though, this shelf is like 2 stitches too short. Like my lengths of floss are like 2 stitches too short to get all the way across. What a pain. But fun things, this is, where can I find it? This here with the handle on it is my first 310, my first black one, because it got over 100. And this one here is a lie. This drink should have been this dark color, but I would have had to start an entire new thread of this dark color for one drink. So instead I had a little bit left of this one, and it's only 1 degree colder. So I used it. So this is a lie. I'm living a lie. But anyway, I love how it looks. I was a little bit worried that it was getting too beigey brown, but when you look at it all together, it doesn't look too beigey brown at all. I do think that having the outlines of the drinks in that light color on this blue just, I think, looks really, really good. So I'm really pleased with that. So this is stitched on 14 count navy. I was going to say ivory Aida. That's my other one. 14 count navy Aida that I got. I think it's DMC brand that I got in a tube from Joann Fabrics. And I love it. I love it so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this color. Like, I'm so glad I used this color. If you're interested in stitching this, you can find it in my Etsy shop down below, along with some of my other temperature patterns, and hopefully soon a new temperature pattern, which would be super exciting. I did a little sneak peek of that last week, and I have not done any more work on it this week. Work was crazy. I'll talk about that in my, life update at the end, but it's a good segue into question number 2. I am a historian. What is my historical specialty? And I will give you multiple choice for this one. Number 1, is it ancient Rome? Number 2, early America. Number 3, medieval Europe. And number 4, the French Revolution. So what is my historical specialty? That is question number 2. All right. So when I last saw you, I was going to start stitching on my wedding sampler. I got married last September, and I am going to turn this into a wedding sampler, and I'm going to basically create a separation here and put our names and our wedding date on there. This is the River by Modern Folk Embroidery. I got it from a Black Needle Society box, and I started on January 1st. So that's this. And there were a couple of concerns that I had. Let me show it to you first because I'm really pleased with where I've gotten. Look at that. I have almost an entire alphabet at the top. Now, I had 2 concerns. The first one I talked about last week, and that was about my fingers. So just to recap, my stress sign, my stress action is to eat the skin around my fingers. And I've been doing it for so long that I can like peel the skin down on almost all my fingers. I can go pretty far on some and less far on others. But what that means is that my fingers are perpetually rough. Because there are snags, and I'm doing this, sorry, let me talk about this. I'm doing this piece in silk. I'm doing it in DeVere Yarns silk filament, I think, filament silk in old gold. This is 72 weight. I'm using, I thought I was going to use 4 strands, but I'm actually using 3 strands for this. It's a 12 strand silk. And I'm stitching it on a 16 count Aida, I think, that I have dyed, printed, developed using Cyanotype, and a piece of lace that my cousins gave us for our wedding. Okay. So my fear, because I'm using silk and I'm using this filament silk, every time I worked on this, I did this part first. Every time I worked on it, it would just catch and pull, and it would like bunch up, and it would separate, and it was just, it wasn't fun to work on, which, it needs to be fun to work on. So I'm happy to announce that working on this, it caught on my fingers 0 times. 0 times. I've been really good about not eating my fingers. I have a couple of places where I pulled on something, but it did not affect my stitching and it did not pull. So that was really exciting. The second fear I had was I don't want to grid this. And as you'll see with my HAED, I'm not good at, I have to grid, right? I'm not good at counting. And in fact, I grid my HAED every 5 squares because after 5, I lose track of counting, which is, I know, ridiculous, but it is the way it is. That's how my brain works, and I'm okay with it. But I didn't want to grid this because I didn't want to use a friction pen because it can come back, and I didn't want to use water soluble because I'm using silk, and I didn't want to ruin the silk. So I just counted it over and over and over and over again, and I was terrified that it wouldn't be right. And I just checked. There's one more letter that has to go in here, and it is exactly correct. Friends, I counted this exactly correct. Now, I did count it 4 times, and I used like a counter clicker. So like I wanted to make really, really sure that it was right, but it's right. So I can continue on with confidence that I can just now do it. There's going to be a line under here, and then another row of letters, and then a line, and then a row of letters and numbers. And what a relief. Holy cow. So that is my river by Modern Folk Embroidery, and I'm really pleased with it. And that leads to question number 3. My husband and I do not have kids and will not have kids, but we do have a pet. What kind of pet do we have? That is question number 3. My final whip is the one you know and love. This is my Heaven and Earth design, Lady and the Unicorn. This is what it's going to look like. And this is where it was before. I need to show you this because I haven't done very much on it. In fact, I've worked on it very, very little. This is where it is now. And so what I've done is I've filled in some of this line. I've filled in some here, and then I think I filled in some up here, but I have not worked on this very much at all. I'm super behind. I am at over 20. I did hit over 26,000 stitches today, and I'm at almost 11.5%. I'm at like 11.46%. So that's very exciting for me. And there she is. And this is Lady and the Unicorn by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is stitched 2/1 on 20 count ivory Aida in the call for DMC because it's a HAED. You don't convert a HAED. And as you can see, like I mentioned, I grid it with a friction pen every 5 stitches. And that helps me to stay on track. And so when I mess up, which I invariably do, I'll find it pretty quickly because there's so many lines all over it. And it's full coverage, so you won't notice it. And that's why I do it in sort of a light color. So even if it comes back a little bit, you hopefully still won't be able to see it, even under these light parts like that. One thing I have like not mentioned in ages is that this piece is part of a stitch along, a SAL that I'm doing with Jessica, the Rainy Day Stitcher, who has not posted a video in like forever. And we're calling, and she came up with the name, and the hashtag is Party Like It's $13.99 Sal. So that's this. So that is my Heaven and Earth design, and that brings us to question number 4. On what day did I start this project? Now I'm not looking for the date. I'm looking for the day. It's an important day. What day did I start this project? Put it down below. And I also this week, I think I did it this week. I may have done it last week. I organized my flosses. So now they are in DMC number order. What I need is I need more floss drops. Thank you all for, some of you reached out to me about floss drops. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get them. But I need a ring keep. Now I understand why people have those ring keeps, because it really helps you know where you're starting. Because I think this is it, right? So it actually, so this is the low and this is the high. Anywho, if you care. But they're all contained on here, and I only have a few that are still left in my little bag here. I still have more that I need to do. But I just have not worked on this long at all. So that is the end of the Stitchy Extravaganza section of the Flosstube Extravaganza. So let's talk about plans. I would like to work on all of my current whips. That would make me really happy. I'd like to start working. I will hang out with my mom this evening and work on the temperature drink shelf, and I will hopefully get in some of those glasses. That's what I do when I stitch with her, and then, you know, work on the other ones. I am hoping to get an order in from Fat Quarter Shop that will allow me to start a a winter project that is part of a winter stitchy swap that Heather, link is my homeboy, organized. So that is a secret swap. So, and it's a secret stitching. So I won't actually show you or post any progress on that because the person who it's going to knows me and is friends with me, and I don't want to spoil I don't want to spoil it for her. So, you know, when she sees like my name on the box, I don't want her to already know what's going to be in it, because I do plan on like individually wrapping everything that's in there, because I have to be a little bit extra. But I have like the perfect winter fabric, I hope, coming. So that'll be super fun. And folks, I have ideas, which are in my haul that I'm going to show you. So let me show you. First, I had mentioned this before. I said that I was getting a special package in the mail that I'm super excited about, and it came. I got, this is fabric. It is a violet fabric, a lavender fabric, but it is silk. But it's not any silk, Belding Corticelli silk fabric. So I have been collecting these wooden spools, right? And my favorite ones are the Belding Corticelli, either the Corticelli or the Belding Corticelli spools. And I think I did a whole video on the history of this company a while ago. I'll post that up here if I can find it. I think it was last fall when I started getting really into spools. But I also bought a lot of like ads. So I have a lot of ads from this company from like the 10s, the 1910s, 1920s that are framed that I'm going to put up in my office. And now I have actual like fabric from this company. So I don't know how old this is. I think the company went out of business, or I think the company went out of business like totally in like the 70s or 80s. So it's not that old. It smells fine. Like it doesn't smell musty or anything. I think it's been kept really well. So I need to think of something really nice to make out of this. It's about 2.5 yards. So super excited. The other thing that I'm really excited about that I've been like, is my current purchasing on eBay, like my current sort of research on eBay, are pocket watches. Pocket watches that aren't working. I don't want to give away what I want to do with these, but I have some really fun ideas of what I want to do with these pocket watches that is stitchy adjacent. So hopefully in the next month or so, I will kind of get my act together with my job and have more time to play around with these things, which will be super fun. And on the same vein, I've been acquiring some pendant watches for the same reason. So I have some pendant watches and I have some coming. I have some pocket watches that are also coming. Some more pocket watches that are also coming. And I hope that I will have time to do really fun things with them. And I can't wait to show you those really fun things. So we're almost to the end of the extravaganza, but I want to talk about my, I want to do a life update before we get to the big extravaganza giveaway. So I started a new job 2 weeks ago. Last week, my first week was a little frustrating, a little frazzling, and felt like it lasted forever. Many of you totally felt my statement about how long that week felt. And yeah, this past week, a blink of an eye. I mean, it was a blur. I like woke up and it was Friday. It was wild how fast it went. I don't think I messed up anything too big. There are a couple things that I just can't do yet because I don't have access to them yet. But I don't think I messed up anything too much. We have some new students, which is good. You know, I think it's going as well as it can go. Classes start tomorrow. I almost have classes. So as this is rendering and uploading, I will be, you know, finalizing the first few weeks of both of my classes. I teach them both. They're both online asynchronous. So there are no like class meetings. It's just online. And I am kind of always mucking about in there, you know, mucking around. So yeah. So, I mean, I'm feeling pretty positive. I led my first department meeting on Friday and it went well enough. And that is my update, but it's very busy. And that's one of the reasons why I don't have too much stitching. I do have an idea for a woven thing there that I was inspired by a video. I'll put the name of the channel here. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I have purchased from them before. They sell weaving supplies. But I want to do a woven necklace. I want to try that this week. And then I also have some ideas for beads, fabric beads that I want to try. So I think that it could be really cool if I have time to do it, because I had made those scissored fobs a while ago, but I don't love the beads that are on them. I don't love the foiled beads. So I have another idea for that. So I'm going to play around with that and see what I can come up with. Hopefully I'll have a little bit of time. Whew. And I think that the last thing to do in this second Flosstubeaversary extravaganza is the big giveaway. In episode 82, in Flosstube 82, I'll put a link to that up here, I announced the giveaway, and I'll be giving away 2 surprise packs of goodies from my giveaway stash to anyone around the world. But you had to use the word huzzah. So I have the YouTube comment picker. There are 36 unique comments. And let's start. Oops, I always forget that it's below. And the winner is Sherry. Sherry, you said, congratulations on your 10% completion. Thank you so much. That's for my HAED. That was when I finished my 10%. She loves my weavings and the green one. And she said the green one is her favorite, and that is this one over here. Right here. Like that. Thank you very much. I like that one too. She suggests that I put my scissor fobs in my shop, and I might do that. I just want to make a couple of changes first and try this new beading idea, and then I'll do it. Oh, and she loves the knickknacks, the new knickknack pattern. So thank you so much, Sherry. And this is, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but it's Sherry Seacrease. Sherry Seacrease. So you are my first winner, and if you could please contact me either on Instagram at Dr_Christy or via email at christiescornercraft@gmail.com. They're both down there in the description box. And I will send me your mailing address, and also send me whether you prefer Aida or even weave. And also let me know if you want a picture of what I'm sending to you. So I plan on taking a picture of it and then showing it to you all, when showing both of the prizes to you all when I know that the recipients have gotten them. But I want it to be a surprise because I love a surprise. Love a surprise. Okay, so that's our first winner. Sherry is our first winner. And our next winner is Terry Hall. Terry, you are the winner. Terry Hall. Huzzah, lots of fun stuff going on. Yes. Yes, there is lots of fun stuff going on. So Terry, I don't keep addresses. I'm sure I've sent you something before. So if you would also contact me, send me your address, and whether you want Aida or even weave. Those are the questions. So those are the 2 big giveaways. Congratulations, Sherry and Terry. I love it. And this leaves us with the final question of the day. And that is, how many times have I said extravaganza in this video? And that's the whole thing from the beginning until the end, which hasn't happened yet. So if you would put that number as a numeral down below, I will essentially do, there are 5 questions. So for each one, you can win one of the 5, but you can enter in all 5. Put your answers down below, and I will do random comment picker next week for all those for a pattern prize. So the last question is, how many times have I said extravaganza in this episode? And I think that's it for me. If you are entering into any of those trivia questions, please make sure you're 18 years old so I can ask for your email address. Please be a subscriber. You need to comment with the thing down with the word or number down below. Don't say giveaway or, you know, all the Flosstube rules apply. But I think that this is the end of the show because my extravaganza hairpiece is being held up by my glasses. So I think that gravity is telling me it's time for me to go. It has been great hanging out with you for these past 2 years. I have had so much fun being a part of this community. I have met so many amazing people. I'm not going to be all sappy, but I feel a little bit sappy, and I just am loving it. It is not easy to get in front of a camera, and so kudos to everyone who does it. It is not easy to, you know, find the time to do things like this. We have very busy lives, but you all and spending time with you all is worth it to me. And my husband doesn't have to hear me talk about stitching to him anymore, so it's worth it to him as well. So with all that, I think that is the end of the 2-year Flosstube extravaganza. And I will see you on Tuesday for another Embroidery 101 class, and next week for my Flosstube. Have a great day, everyone. Please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.